Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we have some big news coming out of Disney. Bob Iger is officially stepping down as of today uh, at his position as Chief of Operations at Disney. Uh, and this is extremely sudden. You know, we had there were really no articles out before this saying that Iger was thinking about stepping down as the CEO. There was no kind of warning given from the company, which is odd. Again, usually when these kind of things happen, they basically uh, they announce, months beforehand that this is actually going to happen, and usually they'll announce the successor as well. Now that can be out explained a little bit in this because Iger is technically staying within the company. He's still going to be on the board of trustees for Disney, and he's going to be kind of. I would assume he's going to be kind of a mentor position to this new CEO that they are having come in, who was the former director of the Parks Department for Disney. The chairman of all the theme parks and everything on that, and the merchandising. Bob Chapek, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, here's the thing: you can construe this a few different ways. One, again, like I said before, this was extremely sudden of Iger stepping down. Nobody had any word on this, so it's kind of a shock for a lot of people, especially when Disney made a lot of money with their films last year, mostly the Marvel films. But some people they're attributing this to maybe the debacle with Star Wars, and maybe some of that has caught up to Iger because obviously we knew there was some friction between him and Kathleen Kennedy in regards to the franchise. We knew there was friction there, so it might have had something to do with that. But the thing is, Marvel has been doing extremely well, even though the future is looking for the MCU. As far as the brand has been, at least up to this point, it's been an amazing moneymaker for them. There wasn't really any kind of a drawback. Disney Plus has been gaining subscribers, even though they had a lot of people leave, and they are still very, very far behind Netflix. I believe their current numbers are sitting somewhere around the 28 to 29 million subscriber mark, while Netflix, I believe, has somewhere upwards of 150. Or 150 million. So they're still playing catch up, and they did take a big hit when The Mandalorian left. Really, the service just needs content, which would fall on Iger because he's kind of the one that's presiding over the whole deal. Star Wars, Marvel, other big Disney stuff that's going on, like Disney Plus. But the other thing that makes me kind of question this a little bit is that of all the people they could pick, they pick Bob Chapek, a guy who has been in charge of the Disney theme parks. Now, for a long time, the Disney theme parks, after the acquisition of Star Wars and Marvel, and after the company's grown considerably, the theme parks are really kind of the one consistent thing about the Disney as a company, because they were putting out movies that made money, even if they were not necessarily popular with critics. They were putting out, Star Wars films that again were making money. Even though obviously I have creative problems with a lot of the stuff with Star Wars, especially lately. The whole thing is that the movies were still making money at least up until Solo, pretty much. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it, but I don't really think that would be the case because, again, Bob Iger has been in that position for a number of years. I believe he's been in that position for almost 20 years, if not more. Although you did also have the situation where Bob Iger came out with his memoirs late last year, and that I think may have played a bigger part in this because he kind of aired out a lot of Disney's dirty laundry, and I made a video about it at the time, stating that it was very odd, especially before Rise of Skywalker, to kind of air out all this dirty laundry that Disney had between them and George Lucas. And to be honest, the PR for Disney has never been worse than it is now. So again, that may have, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe like a year or so ago, it might have been worse. But the problem is that now some of the Marvel people are starting to turn on them when they weren't really before, at least not until Captain Marvel came out. So taking that into consideration, both of their brands Marvel's going to have a light presence in the future. Star Wars is going to have a very low presence in the future. Uh, at least for the next year or two before they finally come back in 2023. So, you're not going to see a lot in the next few years. You're going to see a drop off. So that may have also been a decision on his part to leave before the numbers started reflecting negatively on him. But the other thing is that the man is 69. It would make sense for him to retire. He's going to leave the company in full at the end of 2021. So, as of January 1st, 2022, he will no longer be involved with the Disney company unless there is an extension given. And see, here's the thing, is that we're going to see where this leads. I'd say probably within the next year, we'll understand it a bit more because, again, this is very fresh. It's just coming out. We're not going to get a lot of industry leaks on this. They're going to try and sweep it under the market unless this new guy starts doing shit that's stupid. So it could be a couple of things. It could be Bob Iger actually just stepping down and kind of, like I said before, just kind of mentoring this guy to coach him up to fill this position. Or it could be something a bit different where Bob Iger has managed to piss off the Disney brass to the point where they're not willing to keep him around in the same position that he's been in, where they're willing to demote him and promote somebody else, but they're not willing to totally get rid of him. They still want to use him. And the other thing is that Bob Iger could also be seeing this as a moment, well, yeah, you know what? We're going to be in for some hard years ahead, so I kind of want to get out of this thing while the getting's good. Stick this guy in my position. He'll do all right. He'll do fine. People aren't going to expect a miracle out of him, and I can kind of sneak out the back door and train him a little bit in the process. So there's a few different business aspects to this that actually probably would work and are plausible. We don't always have to assume the sinister, the sinister intentions, even though it is Disney. But I don't think this is going to change anything moving forward for any major projects. I think whatever is in motion is probably going to stay in motion. For the most part, I don't think Bob Chipek is going to be doing anything too drastic with that. I'd kind of be interested to see what ends up coming out in the near future. If Bob Chapek manages to, change a few things, or maybe they switch around some release dates and stuff like that, if he's willing to play around initially. So that's still up in the air. But it's, again, from the creative side, this doesn't really change much. It changes a lot from the business side, and it just raises a lot of eyebrows in regards to why Disney chose to do this at this particular time and so suddenly. Because again, it's not even like it's the end of a quarter either. We're in the middle of a fiscal quarter for them. I think their quarter probably ends in April, so or early April or late March, something like that. So you're still in the middle of a quarter, and he's just kind of leaving. It just seems kind of odd. It seems kind of like when we heard Zack Snyder was leaving the Justice League production. That's kind of what this feels like, in the sense of we don't really understand why this is happening fully. There are probably logical reasons why it could be happening, but there are also reasons that might be a bit more on the down low. Some personal interest reasons for the company. But that's just kind of my take on it. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Bob Iger stepping down is a good thing or a bad thing? Do you agree, or do you want to speculate on the reasons on why maybe he is stepping down? Again, leave your thoughts in the comments below. I like to know what you're thinking. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?